I was on live the other night with Patrice at Craftable Things, and we made these cute little pencil pouches. Our video ended up being 4 hours. So I am going to make a shorter version of this tutorial using my Ricoma Marquee 2001. Without further ado, let's get started. This is what we're making today. Hello everyone, and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. As I stated the last time I made a pencil pouch like this, it took a little over 4 hours, and I definitely want to condense the process for you and make it a little bit more helpful if possible. As always, I'm going to take you step by step through this full tutorial, and at the end of the video, if you find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, before we jump in and look at the materials, you will notice that I'm not using these exact same materials when I'm going through the cutting process, but that part really doesn't matter. What will matter the most is the measurement, so pay attention to that. Also, if you haven't joined us for So Good Saturday or Sunday, please consider doing that. I will make sure to link our upcoming So Good Sunday below the video. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The materials I'm using to make my pencil pouch include a file by Designs by Little B. It will be linked below the video. I'm using tearaway stabilizer. According to the project, you can use tearaway or cutaway. The first time I used cutaway, using tearaway this time. I'm using red faux leather. This material, this fabric that I purchased from Walmart, red painter's tape. I'm using black elastic and a black zipper. I'll use a pair of scissors to cut as needed. The size of this hoop is 8 by 13. It's an 8 by 13 mighty hoop. And my embroidery machine is a Ricoma Marquee 20 needles, a Ricoma Marquee 2001. The first thing I'm going to do is get my tearaway stabilizer placed onto the hoop, and then I'll cut the faux leather and the fabric. The first thing I'm going to do is cut my stabilizer. That is that. Now I will get my fabric and my faux leather, and I'm cutting one piece of faux leather that is 5 by 8. So I have one piece of faux leather that is 5 by 8. And I'm also going to cut 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 8. 2.5 by 8. Okay, here's the other one. Now I'm going to get some fabric and I'm going to cut those same exact sizes. Now repeat that same process with fabric. Cut 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 8 and 1 piece that is 5 by 8. After I finished cutting my fabric, I decided to change the color scheme of my faux leather and use a different pattern. That doesn't matter. The measurements are what's important. Now let's head over to the machine. I have my hoop on the machine. The first thing, I'll go to the home screen. The first thing I'll do is go to get out of embroidery mode. I'm going to go to select design. I'm going to go to my USB, to the machine. I'll find the design. It's this one right here. It's called a zipper bag. I'll press select. Then I'll go to select hoop. And I'm choosing the 8 by 13 mighty hoop. I'll click OK. The next thing I'll do is go to select color. I'm using black for this whole project, so I'll just click 1717 all the way down, and I'll click save. The next thing I'll do is go to design settings. Oh, let me go back. Let me go back one, because for my machine, I want to make sure that it stays on automatic manual. Hopefully you can see that on automatic manual on the display. Right here is the middle option. So I'm going to click save. I'm going to design settings. I am going to just keep it a little bit bigger. Right now my design is at 110% bigger. It's just a tiny bit bigger, and this fabric is still big enough for this design. I'm going to click save, and now I will go into embroidery mode. I'm going to click OK. And the first thing I'll do is a trace. I'll click trace area, and my machine will start to trace the area that is going to be embroidered. Okay, I think that looks great. Now I'm still going to do a trace design, but I'm going to hold down the first presser foot. Because I made the design a little bit bigger, just definitely want to be sure about placement. Okay, I'll go back. And the first thing that's going to happen is going to be the placement stitch. After the placement stitch is done, I'm going to start to number the design so we can be on the same page the whole time. This design was a little bit confusing with the directions, and so I'm going to do my best to help you through that part. So I'm going to click start, and we'll get our placement stitch. You might hear or see my dog walking around in the background. The first thing we're going to do once we have the hoop on the machine is start with a placement stitch. After the placement stitch is complete, we will add the zipper face up. Use painter's tape or pins to secure the zipper to the stabilizer. This part is optional, but I'm doing this to help with this process. So on the front of my hoop, I'm writing front, top, and bottom. I'm writing on the outside of where the stitching will take place. So there's top and bottom. Now this part is once again optional. I'm just writing a 1 at the top and a 2 at the bottom to label the sections. Now I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine. You can see the top and bottom. My zipper is fully zipped up. I flipped it over facing forward. On the back, I'm going to write the word back, and I'm going to label sections 3 and 4. There's my 3, there's my 4. Now I'm going to take a piece of my fabric, the 2.5 by 8. I'm flipping it over face down. The pretty side is face down on the back of the hoop, and I'm going to tape it in place, making sure to cover the full zipper. This is what the back looks like. Section 3 is completely covered with the fabric face down. We're back at the front of the hoop. I have my faux leather face down. The pretty side is face down and secured to the stabilizer. I'm placing the hoop back on the machine, and now I'm going to press start so section 2 and section 3 can be stitched down. Now, remove the tape from the top that is securing section number 2. Take your faux leather and fold it back to reveal the pretty side. Use that same tape to tape the faux leather to the opposite or to the top of the stabilizer. So I'm using the same tape and I'm just taping it down so this top part can be stitched down. You can remove the hoop or you can hoop out in this section right here. Now we're going to add a top stitch to the faux leather. Do not do anything to section 3. Now remove the hoop from the machine, flip it over, same way that I'm doing right here. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold down the fabric to reveal the pretty side. I'm going to use the same tape that I already have in place. I'm going to tape the fabric down right behind section 1. So section 1 and section 4 are now basically mirrored. Now grab the second piece of fabric and place it at the top of the stitch line that covers the zipper. Now I was careful about this part because my fabric has words on it, and if you're not concerned about the direction of the words, don't worry about it. But I placed mine down with it basically facing the right direction if I wanted to read it, and I'm covering that top line where the zipper is. I'm going to tape that fabric down so that I can add a stitch. Okay, so I have the fabric secured. Both pretty sides are basically facing each other. And now I'm going to flip the hoop back over and I'm going to do the same thing on the front that I just did on the back. I'm adding the faux leather with both pretty sides facing each other. I'm going to secure it with tape. Now that my faux leather is in place, I'm going to press start and add a tack down stitch. As you can see, there is nothing in section 2 on my hoop. Now I'm going to remove the tape from the top that's securing the faux leather. I'm going to flip the faux leather over and use that same tape to secure the faux leather to section 2. Once I have the faux leather taped down, I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine and I'm going to flip the fabric over and secure it to the section on the back of section 2, which in my case would be section 3. So I'm going to just remove this tape that's holding everything in place, and I'm going to secure the fabric to section 3. So now this is what the back looks like. I see both pretty sides of my fabric. This is what the front looks like. I'm placing the hoop back on the machine. Now I'm going to grab my elastic. I'm removing the tape from where the zipper is, and I'm going to grab my elastic and put it with the pretty side down. So now if your elastic has a design on it, you will be putting it pretty side down on top of your faux leather. Mine is just plain. This is 13 inches of elastic, and I'm only going to leave a small piece of it hanging off the edge. When you're securing the elastic to the top, make sure that the elastic is directly on top of the zipper and that it's out of the way, because the bottom, which is section 2 on the front is about to be stitched, and you don't want the elastic to be stitched down in the process. After that stitch is complete, remove all of the tape except the tape that's holding the elastic in place. All of the other tape that was there previously, you can remove that because you won't need it for this part. Once all of the tape has been removed, take your largest piece of faux leather and place it with the pretty side face down on top of the faux leather that is already stitched in place. Place the pretty side down of the faux leather and secure it to completely cover the faux leather you already have in place. Use a few pieces of tape to tape it down. You can also use pins. Now that my top of my bag is completely stitched down with the faux leather, I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine and flip it over to add fabric to the back. So the top is completely closed in. I'm flipping it over, and to my surprise, my fabric, the tape had come off from the back and the fabric was not stitched correctly. Ended up having to remove the seams and start that part over. Because the fabric is going to be on the inside of the bag, I decided to continue with this project. So I'm going to repeat what I did at the top, which is add the large piece of the fabric to the back of the hoop, and I'm going to secure the fabric in place with the pretty side facing down. Now this is what the back of my hoop looks like with the tape securing the fabric in place. I'm adding the hoop back to the machine, and now I'm going to press start and allow that final stitch to take place. And what you might notice is that the stitch is not going to completely close the fabric portion of this bag, which will allow me to flip the bag inside out when it's time. We're back at the table and we are in the final stretch. What I'm doing right now is removing all of that painter's tape, and I'm going to prepare to cut around the bag close to the stitches, not on the stitches, but close to the stitches. Now you will notice that there is an opening on the side that has the fabric. My goal here is to flip this over so that the pretty side of the fabric is showing. Now I'm going to definitely speed this up because I'm not good at this and it's going to take me a while and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to speed this part up, but my goal right now is just to flip this inside out, okay? So after your first flip, you're going to get something that looks like this. Now what you'll do is cut down the middle where you have your stabilizer, and you should be able to see your zipper and the elastic. So I'm going to do that. Use my little scissors right here. Just going to cut it. Just cutting the stabilizer. Making sure that I'm not cutting anything except the stabilizer, just the stabilizer. Then I'm going to flip it one more time so that the faux leather is what's on the outside. So this is the bottom. I'm going to clean up a little bit of that stabilizer, that tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to just cut that away because I don't really need it. I guess I could tear it away. All right. So here is my bag. So here is the outside. It just says love, 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 like that. And then the bottom has black and white polka dots. Here's my elastic. Let's take a closer look at my bag. So right now I just have it on a standard composition notebook. My zipper zips fine. It did come out straight this time. The first time I made this, my zipper was not straight. I would not say this pencil pouch would work with like a standard size pencil. However, it does work nicely with pens, weeding tools. I can put my little pair of scissors in here if I want to. If you're worried about that fabric where it didn't stitch well, this is where I had to use my seam rippers. So this is what the inside looks like. And it doesn't bother me, not one teeny tiny bit, but this is the inside of the bag. I think it looks very cute and it matches this pattern of faux leather nicely. This is the bottom, this is the top. And I just love the way this turned out. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.